To speculate on this one, we have to go back, way back, to a time where there were men who were Ultra, who fought alongside humans to protect the Earth from giant monsters. This was Ultraman, and this was a thing in Japan, becoming a popular kids franchise over there, though earlier shows were translated and aired overseas. But eventually, a decline in popularity left its company, Subaraya, resorting to other methods of keeping Ultraman relevant, even attempting to reach English-speaking audiences. And yet, during the 1990s, it was another Japanese show that would end up reaching the masses by using their own set of superheroes with American actors. This became a hit, and at the time, others probably wanted in on this. But it turns out that this one company was, by that time, making all these superhero shows, and they were now legally taken. But one provider of kids entertainment boldly stood up and asked, where was Ultraman? Okay, we'll be taking all this. Definitely that, some of that, but not these kids and not this music. We'll use our own kids and our own sets. We'll set it in high school even. That seems to work nowadays, yeah. Welcome, everyone, to Superhuman Samurai Syber-Squad. Premiering in 1994, it was one of the few shows to compete with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by using Tenko Choji Gridman, an Ultraman spin-off, as its means to sell toys. And you can say they made some sort of impact, spanning 53 episodes, and it's probably the one non-Saban hero show that most people remember, for a couple of reasons. After seeing the designs myself, it seems familiar to me, but I can't recall ever watching it. It's another show that I then grew up on personally, so I am judging it on modern eyes with my own speculation. Hopefully, my unhealthy appreciation of spandex-wearing superheroes will guide me through. So, let's see what this show accomplished, as we'll start, at the beginning, among friends, in the basement of one Sam Collins.
Okay?
Sam Collins, this computer of yours is a major piece of junk. Digital Barney watches have more power. How am I supposed to mix our band's demo reel when this toaster can't even hold the home studio software? Oh, hi, Tanker. When did you get here?
Before you.
Well, anyway, about our demo tape.
Look, before we start talking about demos, which leads to record deals, Swiss bank accounts, limos, we just gotta remember why we got into rock and roll in the first place.
Girls?
Exactly. And in my case, Jennifer Doyle. A grade A, high voltage, major source of spectator slowing.
Believe it or not, he does get her attention and her number on the next day with an obvious magic trick, and we accept this. But he has competition, as his close-up indicates. This is Malcolm Frink, and he had already struck out with Jennifer earlier. Apparently, she's not into the moody, artsy type. Normally, Malcolm would leave his disappointments and his revenge to his imagination. That will not happen tonight.
I like it, me thing.
Who the heck are you?
I am Kilo Khan, subjugator of the digital world. And I need someone with your talents.
Could a virus destroy a telephone circuit? Then you've got a deal.
At the same time, Sam gets sucked up into his computer via power surge, somehow, and returns with a device on his wrist that he can't take off. He doesn't like it, I find it creepy and intrusive, but it comes in handy later when he does make that phone call but can't, thanks to Mr. Frink. With the device, he transforms into Servo, a cyber superhero capable of taking out viruses in the best way possible, with his fists. And with this victory, Sam restores the phone lines. And during the next day at school, we find out Jennifer is okay with Sam knowing her number. So, if she's okay with that, then she's definitely okay with going on a date with him. That sounds like a plan, but I bet something's gonna happen next episode. We find out Sam's choice for a date to be a drive-in theater while they were still around. So how does this become a disaster? By police storming the area, looking for Sam, and taking in Jennifer for questioning, while Sam was still there, just getting more popcorn, missing all this entirely. With his friend's help, Sam finds that there is a virus causing this, and that they can help Sam by making his transformation a whole lot cooler.
How will we take her? Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Samurais, guys!
Wait, there's more. As they find a giant ship / cannon / fire-breathing mechanical dragon that's already installed and that his friend can ride in. Oh, and it also combines with Servo to form Firmo, defeating the virus. I can only imagine how many kids' minds were blown by this, because my mind, right now, is definitely impressed. But, awesome marketing aside, the virus did do something right. Jennifer was humiliated and is now mad at Sam. But hey, remember that this is the 90s, where any romantic problems can be solved with the right music. Sam is in a band after all, and coincidentally, there is a school dance in need of entertainment. So yeah, Sam gets him a spot. And of course, Mr. Frink overhears this and is ready to disobey. Again, coming up with something truly convoluted.
Worse, there's a big honking power barrier running around the globe.
Now I don't have to stock up.
You don't get it. It's an 8,000-mile wall that divides one half of the Earth from the other. Jets can't go over it, subs can't go under it, and we can't drive through it.
So?
The school's on the other side. We're gonna miss our gig tonight.
Can we at least get new toys to combat this absurdity? Oh, yes, we can. Now all three friends can pilot cyber vehicles that can form its own robot, Xenon, but for now combines with Servo to form Synchro. You can guess what happens here, and what happens at the dance later. Except the no singing part, that wasn't part of their contract. Regardless, Jennifer forgives Sam. Evil is brewing, and everything is set for the remainder of the show. The gears, the characters, and the absurd shenanigans to follow.
Enjoy it while you can, Sam. But after tonight, I will do everything I can to win her back. Ew, what is this stuff?
Soy sauce salsa. And on you, Malcolm, it looks good.
Don't get used to this pilot, however. From here on out, it's all single episode storytelling, suitable if you were airing this on multiple networks and didn't want to confuse the kids. Here's how it goes down. Like them Power Rangers, Sam, Jennifer, and friends make the best out of high school life. Like a certain empress, Malcolm's around to feel disgusted by this positivity. So, he runs to his digital genie and together create a virus to disrupt whatever is making our heroes happy, which makes Malcolm happy. The good guys figure out what's wrong, send Servo in to defeat the virus, ladder, rinse, repeat. Seeing as how technology has advanced significantly since the 90s, how the viruses do their dirty work is both hilarious and horrifying. Anything that had electrical wire was up for infection, meaning water fountains, battery-operated pom-poms, sometimes computers, and other times non-electrical items like an egg timer. And once infected, these devices, big and small, can now cause physical, mental, and personality changes, and even create pocket dimensions to trap people in. After this is where we get to actual hacking on both a local and global scale. And all of this chaos was done with the size and processing power of Windows 95. The passage of time has not been kind on this fact, and I would laugh at this until I think about the consequences. The show did not hold back with its targets. Worldwide and citywide, food, water, and money shortages were done alongside humiliating classmates. With Kilokan, I can understand this, but Malcolm is surprisingly okay with these attacks, keeping himself safe when they occur. The worst example is Malcolm being dissatisfied with a Japanese product. So, what does he do? He makes a smog virus to pollute all of Tokyo. If everyone else was this trigger happy, the world would have been already destroyed. Someone must have died during these incidents. So you can see the massive amount of lamp shading Syber-Squad had to do from Sam's basement. Speaking of which, let's meet the people who'll deal with this danger. Sam Collins, our hero, is a Lawrence, and is probably more well known for his next TV role. For now, he's here, he looks the part, and he's pretty harmless. For despite his height, he brings with him self-confidence and patience, even around Malcolm. Sounds like a great guy, except that he's simple-minded, preferring the easy life of music and girls. For that reason, Jennifer is here to keep him in line and is the only purpose she serves for the show. And she's not the only one on duty.
Oh, big brother! Sam, wake up!
Yes, she sounds familiar. No, we never see her, and I'm still wondering how Sam walks away from every encounter alive. Then there's being a superhero, a role Sam prefers not doing, yet has the power to. It's over time that he becomes more accepting of his responsibility and less embarrassed about the device looking silly, which is good, because, once again, he can't take it off. Ever. I'm still wondering how he goes everywhere with it. Then there's Amp, their bass player. He is a space case, and that's the nicest phrase the show uses to describe him.
Who's there? Someone too short to ring the bell?
This is so freaky. I sound like an alien or a green can opener or something. That was slicker than a goose through a sausage grinder.
You taught your older brother?
Well, he was younger then.
Taking a cue from another annoying character, Amp does his best to be random, constantly telling tall tales that don't make sense, to humans at least. By watching him, you'll decide if you like or dislike this character. Personally, his presence can become too overbearing, which can take away from the times where he does give good advice to Sam. There may be some moral underneath this to not underestimate or demean that which we don't understand. In Am's case, that moral is thrown out for laughs, because of course he has the highest test scores in school, and of course he has a plethora of talents that he immediately forgets to do after doing them. With Amp, take her and leave him, because he would probably do both and more.
Besides, even if she does win, you should be happy for her. It's a fan's dream come true. Sydney and Chad Williams? I'll pulverize them, I'll grind them into dust. Great. Let's kick some giga butt.
Tanker is the drummer and jock of the group. So, thanks to previous jock portrayals, it must mean that he is dumb, yet brawny, willing to take on any physical challenge even if it kills him. He's also Sam's best friend, and feels just fine playing second fiddle to him. What I found ironic from watching him is that sometimes Tanker sounds reasonable, logical, far from dumb, especially when giving advice to Sam when he's stressed. I don't know if that was intentional, maybe that's how the actor naturally sounded, but all that disappears whenever Malcolm or Food is around. Yeah, Tanker's quick to name calling when insulted, the complete opposite of Sam. The only other person that makes him act funny, however, is a girl.
You know that when a common flea jumps, it accelerates 20 times faster than a Saturn V rocket?
Yes.
You did?
No.
Oh, good. Well, no offense, Malcolm, but the 4200 DX4 runs on 75 megahertz with a full gig of memory.
You're wrong.
I'm never wrong. Pump up the power!
As Team Samurai's technical support, Sydney Forrester is eager to talk about computers and facts, while dressing as 90s as possible. Now, the idea of a female nerd sounds fun, and she sounds in control whenever she's at a computer. However, when you have geniuses in a show, they'll probably have the I can never be wrong complex going on, which intrigues me. By never failing, you never learn, yet Sydney clings to her perfection, which makes her feel even more baffled by Amp. Tanker's around to cheer her up. She supports him, but they both spend the entire show not admitting their feelings for each other and handling jealousy in their own wrong way. Admittedly, I enjoy their interactions well enough, making them the second best couple of the show. Because the best couple award is already going to Malcolm and KiloCon.
A joke means getting the last laugh. Like sending this virus into Jennifer's electric pom-poms.
Say please.
No.
Good boy, you are learning.
Up front, Mr. Frink is easy to hate. He dislikes being with others. He makes it known that he hates everyone and wants to be on top of everything. Combined with a quick temper, a sadistic attitude, and an all-black attire, it culminates into a disturbing human villain, the likes of which wouldn't be shown in kids' programming today. And yet, despite this vileness, Malcolm Frink had fans. And after watching, I could see why. For however joyful the others were, Malcolm never found a natural place within this group or this school. Sometimes our own weirdness, whether good or bad, cannot be shared with those around us, even when Sam tries to understand him. With no evidence of his parents being around, it's probably why Malcolm considers a living program his friend, even though his friend wants to see the human world burn. That's how it was designed, that's all we ever learn about it, and being human for a day did not help change its mind. What's stopping KiloCon, ironically, is not Servo, but Malcolm, using the viruses for petty revenge. In that case, I kinda feel bad for KiloCon having to put up with him, even if that means the end of the world. Overall, it's our villains that are given the most depth, and the actors playing them are wonderful, given that they never met face to face. And yes, that is Tim Curry's sexy, sexy voice. Infamous for Syber-Squad, but not the 90s, as he was doing plenty of voiceover work during this time. Still, this show got him, and we're all the better for it.
Only to break the silence of the sea.
I do not understand.
No, and you never will.
With all this talk about characters and character development, did I forget to mention there was fighting in this show? If all Super knew about computers were motherboards and Tron, it was enough to create the visual wonder that was Gridman. Brightly lit, unique looking sets that haven't been made before or since, in addition to delivering a faster fighting style than Megazords or traditional Ultraman, using armor that made our hero appear more machine than spandex. When combined with the various monster designs, it made for many fights to enjoy. And I'm gonna be biased here. I get goosebumps watching this right now, and I didn't grow up with this show. And to top it all off, Syber-Squad added their own rock and synth soundtrack, making the fights feel even more energetic. Then again, the remaining background music is used way too much too soon. And you'll have to go through that and all this to get to this. And that is Syber-Squad's initial problem. If you're down for simple adventures and fun fights, well, sure, there's a bunch of them to enjoy and laugh over in no particular order. But if you're looking for something that had planning and depth, this wasn't a show for you. And neither was Power Rangers. From the start, it was stuck organizing fights around kids with low self-esteem and this green guy. With a higher budget came the possibility of making their own fights and their own mythos. Syber-Squad had to do all this on an even lower budget, and it shows. With the show shot entirely indoors, there was no way to see the damage Kilokon causes outside of footage from Japan. Also, they probably didn't have enough money to hire more people, so they can't have our heroes hang with other kids. With their set choices limited, it would also be weird having newcomers, old and young, show up at the school cafeteria or in Sam's basement. They still did it, and it looked awkward. And if you're here for the fights, well, get used to seeing the same fights reused over and over for different reasons, regardless of the virus's original abilities or impact. There simply wasn't enough Gridman for this world. These issues are combined with changes in production staff that ultimately left the show lagging on new ideas, like, let's not do anything with the teenager band angle, and instead, let's pick on the lunch lady. And I like Mrs. Starky, this tough but fair adult with an overly eccentric backstory. It's fun to see her educate the kiddies and be involved in hijinks herself. But eventually, she'll remain under constant virus attacks because it's fun to manipulate the lunch lady. When she starts hitting on Malcolm is where the viruses can take a break. And all this manipulation leads up to the finale, a Christmas episode, where Kilokon is able to gain more power thanks to holiday decorations. Now it can leave Malcolm, find Sam's computer, and freeze his friends in place. And I am happy to see Kilokon like this. I'm happy seeing Malcolm crying over a rogue program. And I'm happy when he agrees to help Sam finish off Kilokon by using the same method that created Servo, a power surge. It's what happens next that I'm not happy about.
I don't remember a thing. What am I doing here?
What are you doing here? What about me?
Oh, my aching head. I feel like my brain was stuck in an electric socket.
And then this happens.
I shouldn't have lost anything very important.
Greetings, meat thing. Merry Christmas. The end. No L.
If viewers were personally watching this, then this is not as shocking as it should be, as the first scene of this whole event involves Malcolm backing up his hard drive, Kilokon included. That kills the tension for everything. Why did they do it? After Power Rangers took footage from one show, they eventually had new shows to take footage from in order to keep existing. The same was going to happen here too. A planned sequel called Gridman Sigma introduced a new hero controlled by the previous, now reformed villain. Syber-Squad even teased this possibility later on. There's an episode where Sam ends up in an alternate universe where, get this, Malcolm is a good person. By itself, it's a great episode that made fun of itself. But alas, Sigma was scrapped, and Super Rad continued on with a new Ultraman series. One that Americans would get to enjoy 7 years later. For now, no new Gridman, so will all our new episodes be using only old footage? Oh yeah. Does Amp's actor want to quit too? Uh-huh. So, let's replace him with a surfer stereotype named Lucky.
Hey little buddy. Marianne needs a coconut for her pie.
Skipper, if you need a coconut, go ask Ginger. Well, where am I? Surfs!
In comparison, he's not as annoying as Amp, but not as charismatic either, though he never got a lot of screen time anyway. Oh, since they're low on options, let's give more lines to that black girl next to Jennifer, Yoli, because she could be interesting. They did make her the principal's daughter, thus having a relationship dynamic to play around with. That's something to look forward to with these last few episodes. Any new angles or characters they didn't get to do before. And after all this, our heroes took their adventures to a whole new level. Outdoors. And without Sam this time, he bailed this show at last, so somehow it's left to Tanker to become Servo, and he is nervous on taking the role. With Sydney around, he gets the courage to take down the virus from a laptop, outdoors. A last-ditch effort, sure, but it's a neat end for these two characters. With all that said, was it worth watching Superhuman Samurai Syber-Squad? Was it worth adapting so that we can get multiple repaints of Servo? I think so. Much like the rest of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it was a fascinating look into how these shows came to be and how they did it. For all its corniness, limitations, and average acting, it's not great, but there was still some fun to be had, and I can see myself looking at these fights again. And the lessons learned on this show were taken by the crew to their next project, only to encounter new obstacles to overcome. Still, it was worth looking back to see how and why these shows came to be. I love this stuff, and so can you, with the whole series available on DVD at a low price. Hopefully, you'll join me again on my next adventure into the past. Catch you next time.
Will you stop staring at me?